Okay, so the next quest, Natural History Quiz, which gives you Slayer and Hunter XP. It's in the basement section of the Varrock Museum mini quest. This guy looks very professional standing here like this. Hello there, come to see the new museum? Yeah, how do I get in? Well, the main entrance is around the front. There's head west. Oh, what about these doors? They're for the workmen bringing in finds from the dig site. Sorry, but you can't go through. Oh, I see. Tried to go in through the work door. Downstairs? There's a lot going on in here. What the heck? This place is massive. Who do I talk to? Hello there, and welcome to the Natural History exhibit of the Varrock Museum. Hello, so what is it you do here? Well, we look after all of the research in this section. When I'm not doing that, I'm teaching people like yourself how wonderful the natural world is. Nice, so then I've got a few questions for you. Well, fire away and I'll give you the insight into the exciting world of animals. Tell me about natural history. Well, the field of natural history covers a wide range of sciences. So we use biology, the study of living things, botany, the study of plants, and zoology, the study of animals. Though the field is growing all the time, we're also using techniques from magic, astrology, and numerology. A person interested in natural history is known as a naturalist. Tell me about terror birds. Terror birds, the fastest bird on 2 legs. If you just follow me to the display case, I shall explain all about them. I'm afraid I don't allow pets in my lectures. The demonstrations can scare them. Oh, wow. They actually recognize my kitten. Here you go. Get up. Oh, it starts a cutscene. I think the cutscenes bug the cat. Terror birds live in the nomadic groups of between 5 and 50 birds that often travel together with other grazing animals. They mainly feed on seeds and other plants. They also eat insects such as locusts if they can catch them. What the fuck is he doing? They have no teeth to chew. Oh, he's acting like a bird. He's acting like a terror bird. Like a big scary chicken. They have no teeth to chew with, so they swallow pebbles that help to grind the swallowed foods in the gizzard. They can go without water for a long time, exclusively living off the water in the plants. However, they enjoy water and frequently take baths when they can. Terror birds are known to eat almost anything, particularly in captivity, where opportunity is increased. Terror birds usually weigh a little less than a small unicorn. The feathers of adult males are mostly green, with some white on the wings and tail. I like the weight is measured in unicorns. There are claws on 2 of the wing's fingers, and their strong legs have no feathers. The bird stands on 2 toes, with the bigger toe resembling a hoof. Its feet have no claws. Wait, why is this guy just staring at me? He's not even looking at the bird or the guy. Him and his kid are just looking at me. What can I say? I draw attention. This is an adaptation unique to the terror birds that appears to aid in running. Their legs are powerful enough to kill even large animals. The gnomes in particular prize the terror bird for its fast running speed, using them as mounts whenever possible. Oh, that's pretty cool. There are a number of recorded incidents of people being attacked and killed. Big males can be very territorial and aggressive, and can attack and kick very powerfully with their legs. A terror bird is so fast it can easily outrun any human athlete. And this concludes my short lecture on terror birds. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Thank you, Mr. Natural Historian guy. What's his name? Natural Historian. Oh, there's multiple. There's a lot of them. They all look the same. What's going on here? Let's learn about the Calphite Queen. The Calphites, the insectoid-eating machines. If you follow me to the display case, I shall explain all about them. Oh wow, he's getting into it. Dang. The Calphites, otherwise known as the Calphyscarabinae, are perhaps the largest species of insect on the face of Gielinor. Their queen is called Calphyscarabinae Pasha. Jesus. Most of the early documentation and research on this fearsome predatory species were performed by the noted bug hunter Iqbar Ali Abdullah. This, of course, was before he was driven insane by his research and ran off into the desert screaming. Calphites are related to beetles and scorpions. They are mainly green in color. Some have remarkable antennae which can detect the slightest movement. Their carapace is composed of armored plates called lamellae or lamellae. This shell can be compressed into a ball or fanned out like leaves in order to sense odors. The front legs are adapted for digging the enormous tunnel systems that serve as their nests. They exist in caste-based society, with the soft-shelled larvae at the bottom, up through the workers, soldiers, and finally the queen. They're like ants. Voracious carnivores, a pack of adult workers can strip the flesh from a full-grown camel in a matter of seconds, leaving nothing but a few bones and strips of fur for other scavengers to pick over. They typically live in large nests marked by the rock-hard pillars found in hot, arid deserts such as the one southwest of Al-Kharid, which rise out of the sands like the tombs of desert pharaohs. I don't know why it's so hard to read sometimes. Indeed, there is some relationship between the Calphite queen and the desert god Scarabus, but no one is really sure what. During the early part of the Fourth Age, Scarabus proclaimed himself omnipotent and outlawed the worship of all other gods to save him. When the people eventually revolted against this repressive rule and banished Scarabus, it is said his blood washed over the scarabs and transformed them into the Calphites we know today. Of course, any right-minded scientist discounts these myths as mere stories with no historical basis in the fact. I feel like in the world of RuneScape, the presence, I guess I wouldn't know, but I feel like the presence of gods are kind of provable. And this concludes my short lecture on the Calphites. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Alright, I think that's all the history. What's this schoolboy doing? Cheeky little chappy. Can you find my teacher? I need the toilet. Oh. Do they all say the same thing? Yeah, they do. Teacher and pupil. A teacher and one of her pupils. What do you want now, dear? The penguins, the penguins. Talk to Orlando Smith. Looks very young. Good day there, mate. Good day, are you alright? You look a little lost. Well, mate, to tell you the truth, I think I've come across a gutser with these displays. What is that? Come on, what? Gutser and no mistake. My boss asked me to put together a quiz for the visitors. But to be deadest with you, I wasn't paying much attention to me boss over there, and I've done a bit of a rush job. You mean the natural historian? Yep, that's the bloke. Say, mate, you do me a favor? Perhaps. What do you need? Well, you look like a pretty smart cobber. Could you take a look at the display plaques and give them a run-through? Sure thing. Bonza, mate. I reckon 3 questions per case should be banged to rights. Take a gander at each case and I'll look over your shoulder to give you some advice. Will do. Okay, I can't really do Australian. I only know how to say certain words in Australian, which I won't do now. I'm gonna study the plaque. What is the lowest caste in Calphite society? Worker, obviously. Nice job, mate. That looks about right. Calphites are ruled by a pasha. Nice job, mate. That looks about right. Name the prominent figure in Calphite mythology. Scarabus. Nice job, mate. That looks about right. Bonza, mate. I think that's all of them. Okay. Terbert's preferred food. Anything. Nice. How many claws do terrabirds have? 2. What? Oh, 4. What do terrabirds eat to aid digestion? I don't remember. Stones? Nice. Who used terrabirds as mount? The gnomes. Cool. I got one wrong because I forgot they have 2 claws on each arm, on each wing. Dang, there's a lot going on here. Tell me about snails. Snails, the gelatinous gastropods. If you follow me, this is a lot of info. Snails move like worms by squishing up and stretching out very, very slowly. They also make a lot of slime in order to aid moving by reducing friction. They also use slime for protection. For instance, snails can use their slime to crawl over razor blades without being hurt. It also helps to keep away dangerous insects like ants. When they hide in their shells, snails secrete a special type of slime, which dries to cover the entrance of their shells like a trap door. This is called an operculum. I'm kind of reading and not paying attention, which is not good. The snails of Mauritania are the most malignant mollusks to have ever been studied. They are broken down into 2 distinct species, Achatina acidia and Achatina acidia giganteus, or as they are most commonly known, the acid-spitting snail and the giant acid-spitting snail. Both of these varieties are voracious carnivores using their mutated mouthpieces to spit a glob of powerful acid to kill their foe. They then simply have to wait while the digestive juices make short work of the poor creature. Then they simply slurp up what remains. How these strange creatures came to be is still something of a mystery. The most prevalent theory suggests that they muted as a reaction to an as yet unknown pollutant that has appeared in the swamps. The local populace capitalized on the appearance of these strange species using their shells to fashion a rudimentary home that is fairly resistant to the snail's acid. Other known uses of snail byproducts include a tasty local delicacy and a fireproof oil. And this concludes my short lecture on snails. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Thank you, sir. I'm going to do the quiz right away. What does Achatina acidia mean? Acid spitting snail. There we go. How do Mauritania snails capture their prey? Spitting acid. Which of these is snail byproduct? Snailicola, fireproof oil. 3 more here. Gosh, there's so many displays. Monkeys, the simian collective. A monkey is a member of either 2 known groupings of simian primates. These 2 known groupings are the Karamja monkeys and the harmless monkeys. Because of their similarity to monkeys, apes such as chimpanzees and gibbons are often called monkeys by accident, though some natural historians don't consider them to be monkeys. Also, a few monkey species have the word ape in their common name. The Karamja monkeys are rumored to be fairly cunning and intelligent creatures, although rumors that they have learned human speech is anecdotal at best. In appearance, they stand much shorter than a human and tend to move in a hunched fashion. The Karamja monkeys also sport a red mohawk, though it's unknown whether this is an affection or not. They are very fond of bananas and bitter nuts, eating them in huge quantities whenever they can get their paws on them. The harmless monkeys of most harmless are very similar, but in some ways entirely different breed. They stand roughly the same size and color, but are a lighter color. Interestingly, Karamja monkeys have a deep dislike of seaweed, though this may stem from the actions of a number of irresponsible people. And this concludes my short lecture on monkeys. Cool. I wonder what the red button does. Push button. Oh, these aren't real. What color mohawk? Do they have red? There are 2 known families of monkeys. One is Karamjan and the other is pointless. They're harmless. What do Karamja monkeys take in a deep dislike to? Seaweed. Oh, cool. What does the snail do? It spins. Whoa. Spinny snail. Sea slugs, the cute crustaceans. Oh, they're cute. The term sea slug is something of a misnomer. Whilst these small creatures have a soft body like that of a slug, they also possess a very hard shell like a snail. Very little is actually known about the sea slugs, as we have as yet been unable to procure a sample for observation and study. For some reason, all expeditions we have sent have either vanished mysteriously, or those on the expedition have sent letters back announcing their desire to leave the museum and go on to other things. It is presumed that the species is native to the very deep waters around the eastern Ardagne coastline. There must be some natural resource in the area that the sea slugs are using, as the underwater habitat there is much the same around many coastal areas on Gielinor. Though looking at similar species, we have determined that the sea slug is a harmless little creature. It spends much of its life grazing on seaweed and other plant life. There are reports that these reclusive animals have 2 large fangs at the front, though this is assumed to be either for decorative or defensive purposes. If they do follow the same pattern as other similar creatures, the shell will be nigh on impervious to most attacks. The exposed soft skin may have a number of nematocytes, or stinging organs similar to jellyfish. It is typical of prey animals such as these to develop some kind of unique defensive mechanism that allows them to survive. If we could only acquire one for study, I'm sure we would find this mechanism to be truly unique. And this concludes my short lecture on sea slugs. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Alright. Quiz me, Plaque. In what way are sea slugs similar to snails? They have a hard shell. What are 2 fangs perceived used for? Defense or display? Off of what coastline would you find these sea slugs? Ardagne. Nice. What does this do? They look like crabs or something. They just crawl around on the dock? This doesn't look like their native home. Tell me about snakes. Snakes. The slithering squamata? Serpentes, or Ophidia, is the suborder under Squamata. The snake belongs to like a big family. Unlike lizards, snakes have no limbs whatsoever. Not that this limits them. Snakes live in or near every habitat in the world. Found in nice tropical forests, temperate latitudes, and even in the ocean, some have adapted specialized stomach juices that they inject into their prey as venom, while others prefer to grab and crush their food. While others still are fast hunters who use speed and strength to overcome their prey. The sense of smell in snakes have been enhanced in an amazing way. With most animals, like you and me, tiny particles are filtered through the nose. However, instead of using just their nose, these animals use their tongues as well. When a lizard or snake wants to smell its surroundings, it will wave its tongue around and pick up the particles in the air. The tongue then returns to the mouth, and tips of the tongue are pushed up against 2 tiny pits in the roof in the snake's mouth. Since these pits are split apart from each other, the tongue itself also has to split. This is why snakes have forked tongues. Wait, is this real information? This is real snake facts. So the next time you see a snake sticking its tongue out at you, remember it's sniffing the air, not trying to bite you. And this concludes, okay. Snake animation, what was that? This one has nothing to do with RuneScape, and this is just actual snakes. If a snake sticks its tongue out at you, what's it doing? Seeing how you smell. Snakes and lizards belong to the same order. What is it? Squamata. What is snake venom adapted from? Ooh. Saliva? Uh-oh. Dang, I missed one. Push the snake button. Nice, good little lap. I'm glad they gave me 2 laps there. Got my money's worth out of that button. What does the these creatures do? It does the it does the emote what the old guy was doing. Oh, the old guy actually emotes the same exact thing. No, it's another set of 4. God, this quest is so much reading. All right, first I'm going to start with the penguin. And then I'll talk to the historian. And then we can watch him do the penguin emote. The cunning birds of the sea. Are they cunning? This often maligned aquatic bird is known to be native to the ice fields of Etseteria, although they have been known to live as far as the fields of Lumbridge. It's like etc., like just the rest of the land. These aquatic birds seem to spend the majority of their time eating and fostering their young. Unlike most animals that prefer cold climes, these Spheniciformis work very well together in large groups by watching for predators and caring for each other's young. For creatures with such small brains, they do seem to have a disproportionate capacity for forward thinking and planning. As this serves no natural purpose, scholars are divided to see how this evolved. Their diet consists mainly of fish, squid, and a small shrimp-like creature called krill. However, some have developed a taste for mushrooms that grow around fairy rings. Penguins primarily rely on their vision while hunting. What we don't know is how penguins locate prey in the darkness or at great depths. Some theories suggest that penguins are helped by some sort of extrasensory perception, perhaps even precognition. Wow. Penguins spend a long time going without food even when they are breeding. In fact, they won't even leave their nest if they can help it. Fortunately, most penguins build up a layer of fat to keep them warm and provide energy until the molt is over. So this is like 90% penguin facts and 10% RuneScape lore. Maybe like 95.5. When do penguins fast? During breeding, maybe? Nice, nice. Describe the behavior of penguins. Social. How do penguins keep warm? A layer of fat. Cool, cool. What is this? What the heck? Some sort of leech? Swamp leech? Ah, leeches. The hemophagic parasites. Leeches are fascinating creatures and are very similar to worms in most respects. They like to inhabit streams, rivers, and seas, but their preference is for stagnant pools of water. One of the most common misconceptions is that all leeches feed on blood. In fact, very, very few leeches are parasitic blood-sucking animals. Most leeches are meat eaters feeding on a variety of invertebrates, such as worms, snails, insect larvae, and snails. What? Didn't he say snails twice? Those that do feed on blood have developed an amazing method of doing so. Firstly, they latch onto the skin using a ring of tiny teeth before injecting their prey with an anesthetic. Then they bite into the skin using a Y-shaped mouthpiece and introducing a chemical that stops the blood from clotting. Whoa, that's kind of crazy, actually. They will then feed until they are completely full, sometimes doubling in size. Most leeches are very small, measuring no more than the length of your middle finger. An exception to these are the leeches of Mauritania, which can reach the size of a dog. They are much more mobile than their smaller cousins and are able to jump rather high when attacking. quite how these leeches came to be so big is something of a mystery. All we can assume is that there is some kind of environmental influence which has governed their immense growth. And this concludes my short lecture on leeches. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. What is the favorite habitat of leeches? Water. How does a leech change when it feeds? It doubles in size? I actually don't remember that. What is the shape? It is Y-shaped. Let's look at the camel. Oh, I just noticed how dramatic the button presses. Ah, camels, the ships of the desert. True. The term camel refers to either of the two known species of camelid. There is the Bactrian, which has two humps and can be found throughout Al-Kharid. It also refers to the Ugthanki, or the one-humped camel. Camels are ill-tempered beasts at the best of times, requiring a great deal of time and effort to tame. This would explain why used camel salesmen are in such a hurry to be rid of them. In the wild, camels have been known to lie in wait and ambush hapless travelers before devouring them. What? Camels ambush people? This is quite surprising, as most domestic camels are happy eating nothing but vegetables. Camel milk is much more nutritious than cow milk and goes well in the strong desert drink akin to tea. Another useful camel byproduct is dung. Their dung is very dry due to the highly efficient metabolism of the camel. Scientific research has also shown that chili has a disastrous effect on a camel's digestive system, which produces toxic dung. Alright, I'm sure that's RuneScape lore and not a real-life anecdote about camels. Which camel byproduct is known to be nutritious? Milk. Camels, herbivore, carnivore, or omnivore? Omnivore. Where would you find an Ugthanki? Probably Al-Kharid is my best guess. Alright, last step is this thing. What is this? I think it's a mole. Yeah, it's a mole. Mole man. Or not man, just mole. Now, moles are small mammals of the Talpidae family. These subterranean burrows mainly live on a diet of slugs and snails and insects. They vary greatly in habitat and can be found in almost every part of Gielinor. Some species have even known to be aquatic. Male moles are also known as borers, with the females called sows. Should you come across a group of moles, you would call them a labor. Moles are considered to be an agricultural pest in most places, digging up the ground and leaving molehills all over the place. This has been highlighted in Falador by Wyson the gardener, who, after using some Malignus Mortifier's Super Ultra Flora growth potion, managed to create Gilner's only known species of giant mole. What? This fearsome beast has huge claws, wicked teeth, and a penchant for shiny objects. It is a very tough animal with a thick protective hide and an ill temperature. That said, they do benefit the soil by aerating and tilling it, adding to its fertility. Contrary to popular belief, moles don't eat plant roots. And this concludes, cool. Why are moles considered to be a pest? They dig holes. Who discovered giant moles? Wyson the gardener. The famous. What would you call a group of young moles? A labor of moles. Alright, please tell me there's 2 more. It does not. It looks like it's 4 more. These are the last 4. Some sort of gator. It dances? It's a dancing, maybe like a crocodile, right? Where's the historian? Oh, it's a lizard. I thought it was a gator. The scaly carnivores. Contrary to popular belief, even though most lizards have a yellow belly, they are not in fact cowardly. Most Gielinor lizards will not shy away from a good fight and can be very tough. This is due to a very thick and tough hide made from thousands of thick scales. Most people who claim to be hunters have a very hard time trying to dispatch lizards. In fact, the only people to successfully discern how to kill these tough little squamatas, are the 5 legendary Slayer Masters, although we assume they must have had some kind of natural predator. Interestingly enough, these scales are made from the same substance that your hair is comprised of. This substance is called keratin. Lizards have a very well-developed sense of vision and hearing. Some people think that some lizards have a third eye, a tiny light-sensitive, transparent structure on top of the head that helps them regulate how long they actually stay in the sun. This is vital for the cold-blooded lizards who have no means to regulate their internal temperature. Like many cold-blooded creatures, if they are subjected to a sudden decrease in temperature, they will become sluggish and sleepy. That almost sounds like real lizard facts. How does lizard help regulate heat? Sunlight. Who discovered how to kill lizards? The Slayer Masters. Lizard skin is made of the same substance as hair. Is this some kind of turtle? Tell me about tortoises. The armored ancients. Tortoise is a very well-defended beast. It uses an armored shell like its aquatic cousins, the terrapin and the turtle. Tortoises can vary in size from about as long as your hand to as big as a unicorn. Most land tortoises eat nothing but plants in the wild. Did you know you can tell how old a tortoise is by the number of rings in its shell, just like a tree? Most land-based tortoises eat plants, feeding on grazing grasses, weeds, leafy greens, flowers, and cabbages. Tortoises generally live as long as people, and some individual ones are known to have lived longer than 300 years. Because of this, they symbolize longevity within some cultures, such as gnomes, who also breed them for battle. The oldest tortoise ever recorded was Mibiwaket, who was presented to the King Halthord the Great by the famous explorer Admiral Bake shortly after its birth. Mibiwaket is still in the care of the gnomish royal family. Oh, he's alive. A famous tortoise. What is a tortoise's favorite food? Vegetables. How does the tortoise protect itself? Hard shell. Name the explorer who discovered the world's oldest tortoise. Admiral Bake. Senor Bake. Okay, two more. We've got dragon and something over there I can't see. Oh, Astro Historian, he's ready for me. The mighty hunters of the sky. The dragons of Gielinor are the most confusing species. Standing at approximately 12 feet tall, these imposing predators strike fear into the hearts and minds of most sane folk. However, if you delve a little deeper into their history and lifestyle, a few things stick out as very unusual. With most species, there's a line, an ancestry, if you will, whereby you can track how a creature has come to be in its present form. For instance, you can trace the ancestry of a common house cat back to the same creature that became the saber-toothed cat. However, with the dragon, no such root ancestor can be found. There are many forms of dragons, such as the common colored and the metallic or ferrous dragon. They colonize many areas of Gielinor, though most notably sites of ancient battles and small dank caves. Eating habits tend to vary, with the majority of their food being meat. However, it has also been noted that they can consume metals just as easily, with runite being thought of as a delicacy. Throughout history, dragons have appeared in myth and legend as fearsome adversaries and cunning creatures. However, modern evidence does not support this. Most young dragons are largely creatures of instinct with a strong, vicious streak. The lifespan of the common dragon is yet unknown, as no dragon has ever been observed dying of old age, although it has been mooted that spontaneous combustion could be considered a natural cause of death for the species. That's wild, actually. What is considered a delicacy by dragons? Runite. How long do dragons live? Unknown. Which of these is not a type of dragon? Elemental colored Ferris Elemental. What is this? Skeleton bird. What the heck? What are these? What's in this ice case, Mr. Guy? Wyverns? Ah, wyverns, the extinct lizards, I see. Oh, this is like the reptile area. The wyvern's tale is a sad one. This now extinct species is presumed in some way to be related to the dragon, in that they are both large flying reptiles. The wyvern stands much shorter than the adult dragon and only has 2 legs as opposed to the dragon's 4. Much of the evidence for wyvern behavior comes from the reconstruction of old bones in the icy mountains of Asgarnia. As most lizards cannot maintain their own body temperature, 2 theories as to how they managed to survive has been proposed. One is that Asgarnia was at one time a much more temperate climate than it is now. The other is that wyverns can generate fire internally in much the same way as dragons. These are good theories, especially since they're extinct. If they follow the dragon paradigm, then they would have been carnivores feeding on cows, sheep, and other livestock animals. How and why the wyverns became extinct is something of a mystery, though if you consider the theory that the climate of Asgarnia changed suddenly, then this could provide an explanation. There are some inconsistencies in the findings we have for wyverns, such as the odd wear patterns of some of bones, which really could have only happened after the creature died. Also, the bones we've collected remain a little below room temperature wherever they're kept. They have also been shown to radiate a very weak magical aura. I'm sure in due time these mysteries will be solved. And this concludes my short lecture on wyverns. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Okay, some foreshadowing. This is some good quest foreshadowing. What is the ambient temperature? Below room temperature. Cold bones. How did wyverns die out? Maybe climate change. Where have the bones been found? Asgarnia. We're done. We're done. No more old man reading. Orlando Smith. I did them all. All done. I've corrected the mistakes. Buell, mate. That's the best news I've had all day. Right. I'll have a chat to my boss over there and let him know you've helped me out. You know, with all this new information you've absorbed, I reckon you're more experienced in slaying and hunting now. Oh, thank you very much. No worries, mate. You take care now. I know I went Southern. Every time I do a different voice, Southern is like the default. But free Slayer and free Hunter straight to 9. That's huge. Let's see. What's next?